Alright, let's dive right into the heart of the matter. Today, we're peeling back the layers of one of the most beautiful and eloquent instruments in existence, the violin. Think of the violin as a living, breathing entity. Every part of it plays a crucial role in producing that mesmerizing sound we all love. Let's get familiar with these parts first, shall we? At the top, we have the skull, a beautifully carved piece that's more decorative than functional. It's followed by the peg box, which houses the pegs for adjusting the tension of the strings. And yes, tuning your violin. The strings stretch all the way across the fingerboard onto the body of the violin, ending at the tailpiece. Now, the body of the violin, whew, it's truly a work of art. It's primarily composed of the top, also known as the belly, and the back. Sandwiched between these two is the waist. The belly houses the sound post and the bridge, two small yet significant pieces that transmit the vibrations from the strings to the body of the violin. We also have the F-holes on the belly, which allow the sound to escape from the violin. Let's talk about holding the violin. It might seem daunting at first, but trust me, with practice, it becomes second nature. You want to rest the violin against your neck and collarbone, almost like it's an extension of your body. The jaw and shoulder will secure it in place. Remember, your left hand is for fingering the notes, not for supporting the violin. Taking care of your violin is equally important. Avoid exposing your violin to extreme temperatures or humidity levels. Regularly clean the rosin dust off your violin and strings. Keep it safely in a case when it's not being used. And remember, a well-tuned and well-maintained violin is a happy violin. And trust me, you'll hear the difference. All right, now that we've covered the basics, we're one step closer to creating that beautiful symphony in our hands. Let's move on to mastering the bow technique, shall we? All right, now that we've got the basics down, let's move on to a crucial aspect of playing the violin, mastering the bow technique. This, my friends, is the key to unlocking the violin's true voice. First off, the way you hold your bow matters a lot. Imagine shaking hands with someone. That's pretty much how your hand should grip the bow. Your thumb bends and tucks into the gap of the frog. That's the part of the bow you hold. While your other fingers drape over the top. The pinky finger, ever so slightly curved, rests on the end of the bow. Now, this might feel a bit awkward at first. Believe me, we all felt that way. But with practice, it will start to feel more natural. Remember, the key is to maintain a relaxed grip. If you're squeezing the life out of your bow, you're doing it wrong. Bow control is the next big thing. It's all about the pressure, speed, and the point of contact between the bow and the strings. For instance, to play softer or louder music, you'll need to adjust the weight you put into the bow. Faster music, you'll need to move the bow quicker across the strings. And the point of contact, yeah, it's crucial. You see, playing closer to the bridge gives you a more focused, intense sound, while playing near the fingerboard results in a mellower tone. It's fascinating, isn't it? The same instrument, the same bow, but such a variety of sounds. But remember, mastering the bow technique isn't something that happens overnight. It takes time and consistent practice. There might be days when it feels like you're getting nowhere. But trust me, every minute you spend practicing will pay off. So, with your violin in one hand and your bow in the other, you're not just a musician. you're an artist, ready to paint melodies in the air. So, are you ready to move on to learning the fingering system? Let's do it. Now that we've got a grip on our bow technique, let's dive into the world of fingering on the violin. This, my friends, is where the magic happens, where your fingers dance on the strings to create notes and melodies. On a violin, the notes are produced by the placement of your fingers on the strings. Unlike guitars or pianos, violins don't have any frets or keys to guide you, so it all comes down to precision and muscle memory. Let's start with the basics. The violin has 4 strings, and each string, when played open, but is without any fingers down, will play a different note. G, D, A, and E from lowest to high. Now, placing your fingers on the strings changes the link that is free to vibrate, and thus changes the note. Your index finger or first finger can produce 3 different notes on each string, depending on its placement. Your middle finger or second finger can also play 3 different notes. Your ring finger or third finger plays 1 note, and your pinky or 4th finger plays the same note as the open string above. Remember, the placement of your fingers needs to be very precise, a millimeter off, and you're playing a different note. But don't worry, with practice, your fingers will learn exactly where to go. Let's talk about scales. They're like the ABCs of music. Playing scales involves a particular sequence of finger placements that lets you play a series of notes in ascending and descending order. Practicing scales is a great way to train your fingers and your ear. At this point, you might be thinking, wow, this sounds complicated. Yes, it can feel overwhelming. But remember, every great violinist started right where you are now. With time, patience, and practice, you'll start to see progress. So let's keep going. Shall we move on to reading sheet music? All right, folks, it's time to unlock another crucial skill in your violin journey, reading sheet music. Now, don't be intimidated by those mysterious lines, dots, and symbols. By the end of this, you'll be able to decode them and translate them into beautiful music. Think of sheet music as a road map for your musical journey. It tells you where to go, how fast to get there, and how to drive. The dynamics? Let's start with the basics. Sheet music is written on a set of 5 lines and 4 spaces, known as a staff. Each line or space represents a different note. Now, for violin music, we usually use the treble clef, which looks like a fancy G. The notes on the lines from bottom to top are E, G, B, D, and F. The spaces, again, from bottom to top, spell out F, A, C, E. Remembering these will be your first step. Next up, we have key signatures. These are a set of sharps or flats at the beginning of each line of music, right after the clef. They tell you if any note is consistently sharp or flat throughout the piece. Now, tempo, this is where things get interesting. Tempo is like the heartbeat of a piece. It tells you how fast or slow the music should be played. This is usually indicated at the beginning of the piece and is measured in beats per minute. Finally, let's talk about dynamics, the volume of the music. This is indicated by letters like P for soft, PH for loud, forte, and M for medium. These symbols give depth and emotion to the music, allowing it to truly come alive. Reading sheet music might seem like learning a new language, because, well, it is. But with time and practice, it'll become second nature. And when that happens, you'll have the ability to pick up any piece of music and bring it to life with your violin. So, are you ready for the final step? Let's delve into the myriad of styles that you can explore with the violin. Now, the moment we've been building up to, where we explore the boundless landscapes of music that the violin can traverse. The beauty of the violin is its versatility. From the concert halls resonating with classical symphonies to the lively atmosphere of a jazz club, to a cozy campfire lit up with spirited fiddle tunes, the violin can do it all. Let's start with classical music, the violin's first love, if you will. This genre is all about precision, technique, and expressivity. It's where the violin shines in symphonies, concertos, and solo pieces, playing intricate melodies that can tug at your heartstrings or make your spirit soar. From Bach's partitas to Tchaikovsky's violin concerto, the repertoire is vast and captivating. Then we have fiddle music, which typically refers to folk music. This genre is lively, energetic, and often played by ear. It's less about precision and more about the feel of the music. Whether it's American bluegrass, Irish jigs, or Scottish reels, fiddle music is guaranteed to get your feet tapping. And let's not forget about jazz, where the violin lets its hair down and really swings. Jazz violin is all about improvisation and syncopated rhythms. Think Stefan Grappelli or Regina Carter. They've taken the violin to new heights in the realm of jazz. Each style has its own charm, its own language. As a violinist, you get to be a chameleon, adapting to the style that you're playing. And the best part, you're not limited to one style. You can dive into each one, see what resonates with you, mix and match, and make the music your own. In essence, learning the violin is more than just mastering an instrument. It's about exploring a world of music, finding your voice within it, and expressing it through the notes you play. So, grab your violin, draw your bow, and let's make some music.